Well, happy Sunday, everyone. Hey, it is Shooter. We are going to go over swing trade notes. Can't tell you, this was really my most challenging week to really find anything. I don't get there very often, but I'm there. Of course, at the end of our presentation, please do review our disclosure. Kind of a flat week. I didn't book my losses on Nike or FedEx or Hims. Actually, all three of them turned against me last week. So I'm just sort of watching them to see whether I want to add to try and get out of it. A little better price. Very unusual that all three of them flush the day after I add them. So, hey, it's what it is. And we're still holding DocU, TIGR, $10 as well. So ended up a decent week, but I mean, technically we were upside down a little bit, probably down about $4 a contract, I think a total of 4.5. So we'll see how next week washes out. All right, as far as earnings, BlackRock is probably a solid bet Friday, and Wells Fargo is probably a solid bet. BNY Mellon, I believe that's BNY Mellon, should do pretty well. I think the banks will do well there. So we may add those, to the look this week. But continuation plays, Tesla's got their October 10th event. Now, really, I'm going to repeat this time and time again. I want to make sure I get the message out. Tesla is usually a buy the news, sell the event. So by noon the day before, if we're winning and we're still not running, our pump should come Monday and Tuesday. So that'll be the 7th and the 8th. So by noon on the 9th, you probably want to close the long on that thought, all right? So I also like possible continuations in FXI, Billy and Baba, and TIGR, which really turned out just to be a bellwether. I wish to goodness I put more on the $10 calls than I did. But now LNG is a Milton hurricane play. It's really too high for any other. I just think it's going to get a pop. Then I'm also thinking about adding something to USO because we had a decent weekend for the upside. I don't really like trading that though, so I might just do futures and not do the ETF, but that's really the only way to get a piece of it besides futures. So now 50% back. Wolf is still a candidate. It's not dead yet. Nike, Subex, Vail, and Ali are the primary 50% backs. Really, Ali's our only new one that we're watching. Okay, so let's look at Tesla. All right. So October 280s, right? And I'm meaning I believe it's 15th, not this week, the next week, or you can do the 25th. And actually, I might have priced out the 25th. I'm not recalling right this second. But our swing target is for a new high here, 277, just above our prior 271. RSI really supports this the way we've been hugging this trend. I was hoping it'd give me a little bit more of a back test below this 237, didn't give it to me. Last week, I just kept looking at the options, and I really didn't want to put that extra week in premium just because of where I was on my P&L for the week. Again, I manage my P&L on a weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annual basis. So if I want to manage my losses within a certain range, and last week, just based on the calculation, I was pushing on 15% of my gains for the week, so I didn't want to add more risk there because I was too close to my 20% cap, which would mean I would start trimming positions anyway. So that was my thought. Now, the event, again, I'm going to say it is on the 10th, and historically, it's been buy the news, sell the event. So again, like I discussed, stop close below 237, a little deep. You could go up to this other candle if you want to hold that. But the reality is we might get a dip Monday afternoon and a rip on Tuesday. It's known for doing that as well. A little more volatility, but hey, I like the idea of that event. I think that event's successful. Now let's look at Ali. I believe it's Financial Inc., but it's abbreviated with FINL. And honestly, I've never looked at it. So, all right. So this is a 50% back to 38. Not a lot of room. It really only has about $4 to the upside for 50% back. The gap fell. Looking at the RSI structure, this was our confirmed low. That's the only thing I don't like about this look. Okay. Clearly, this exhaustion candle was huge. Right? Really need to get into the gap, which is 3603, I believe. So, maybe a couple contracts on after the opening range, see where we're at, and then add the bulk of your position above that 3603 or 06 or whatever it was. And I'm looking at the October 18th $40 calls, have 20,000 contracts. So somebody thinks this is going to get back up here. The 618. That's a large bet. So I like the November 39 calls and the 40 call. All right. Just giving us a little room there. Split it how you like. I have no preference on either way. Now let's look at Cheniere Energy LNG. Now this is just a beautiful looking chart. And I can't tell you why I'm not in it already. I really can't. You know, I started off my trading career trading that. That's all. And man, I took some hits. So that was the learning experience, that's for sure, which is why I don't go back there very often. But hey, it's still a good trade when the setup's there. You know, we have the breakout. We're a break above the 78.6. What am I looking for? Continuation of my next golden box. So it's all right there. Now, our 3 should print just above there. So I don't know if we get a weekly close this week, but I think Milton, the way it looks like it's going to skirt the Alabama coast right over to Florida. It's where all the natural gas wells are, the offshore facilities, everything that's there. So the fact that Cherney has so many resources elsewhere, any hit to Natty as far as price because of shutdown is going to hit their stocks in a positive way because they only have one facility in the Gulf as far as export. So they have another one up off the Jersey Shore, over off the California coast, and then they have them throughout different parts of the world as well. So I think it has a good shot to pop, and historically it does pop when Natty gets hit. Now, what I mean, Natty gets hit, the current facilities on the coast get flooded, tidal surge. So we have time for this storm to become a Category 4 by the time it gets over to the coast Monday afternoon. So we'll see how much it develops. You might want to play on that a little bit as far as your position size, because it blows up to a really big storm and it looks like it might become a Category 5 skirting the coast. I mean, we could have a decent pop in Natty. We could see $210 here pretty quick, and it could extend, you know, just on that news itself. So that's my thought, and that's what we have for this week, folks. Great trading.